So this is a Lexus GX550 Luxury Plus in the color Incognito, but I want to show you my absolutely favorite feature on this thing. Now this is an expensive car, $88,000, but it has a dynamic sky panoramic glass roof. So you can see it's just a glass roof right now. It has an electric motor that goes back and forth, but it can become opaque with the click of a button. It blocks it out. And take a look at what the sun looks like with this dynamic glass currently on. It's just a little orange ball up there. I mean, it's always an orange ball, but you're not allowed to look at it. And I do not recommend looking at it with dynamic sky glass control on, but it is such a cool feature, and this actually blocks out a lot of heat as well. Now, in addition to that, you can close the electric motor here, and that's automatic and will close all the way up if it's really hot outside, or you just want to have that fully sealed off for whatever reason. So that is my favorite feature. Also, these beautiful leather seats, they're heated and cooled, and they are also massaging seats. Now, I took this GX550 Luxury Plus on a road trip with my family over the weekend, and I wanted to just share with you my experience driving this vehicle, its shortcomings, what I liked, what I didn't like, how the space is in the back, and all of that. So that's what we're going to discuss in this video. So this has a turbo V6 in it. Very nice engine, good from slow acceleration and everything like that. But surprisingly, on the road trip I did, it only returned 15.2 miles per gallon. The rated, what it's supposed to get is 17 miles per gallon, and it's also 100 degrees outside in Phoenix, and you're not expected to get exactly, plus going faster on highway speeds. We're in the ballpark. What kind of threw me off at the beginning though was it said the range was only 240 miles, and then when I refilled the gas tank, it said a full range, full tank, 270 miles of range. And now online, this has a online and in real life, this has a 21.1 gallon gas tank. So you should be able to get like over 400 miles of range. But for some reason in this, we just weren't able to get anywhere near that, although it did deliver on the range that it said it was going to get. Now the other unique thing, now these are the upgraded 22-inch forged alloy wheels. And you can see behind here, behind this massive wheel, you have a fairly small brake caliper. And I've never really thought about this or had to deal with this, but as we were going up a mountain and then started to descend, I was in cruise control, and I had cruise control set to 70, and as we were going down a steep grade, the cruise control was trying to keep the car around 70, meaning it had the brakes clamped, and the brakes actually started to overheat, and they started to go whoop, 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 and not warp, but they started to, I don't want to say fail, but they started to weaken. So one thing I would recommend if you're taking your GX550 in a mountainous area and you're going on a long downhill section, take it out of cruise control so you make sure you don't overheat your brakes. Personally, I think Lexus should upgrade the calipers and the rotors on this to be able to handle the weight of the car. This has a 7,800 pound towing capacity. I don't tow anything, so I don't know if that's good or bad. You guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments. Now, Incognito is such a cool color. The GX, beautiful. They all look about the same. The GX starts at $64,000, so it's not as crazy as you think it is. Now, once you load it up, it becomes crazy, but it's not as bad starting out. You can get a really beautiful car for a not so crazy value, and these things should hold their value fairly well over the years. There's also an overland version of this. This is the luxury street version of this with street tires. But you can get an overland version that's made more for off-roading, and it's absolutely beautiful. You also have these running boards that pop out on the luxury. Again, just a nice feature. They go in and out, cooled massaging seats. It just adds a little bit to the vehicle that I really like. Now you're also going to be wondering, what about space for car seats? So you can see we have two rear-facing car seats here, and we've actually had a decent amount of space, and for some reason this thing came with a pillow. So I don't know, what's going on there, but it did come with a pillow, but it is luxury, so that's, it is what it is. These are also captain's chairs. You can get it optioned as a bench, but the captain's chairs are just a really upscale feature in my opinion. So you have the automatic trunk, and this glass also opens up, as you can see there, so I think that is a nice feature as well. These rear seats are automatic, so you have buttons here that you see when I press it forward, the headrest will fold down on its own. So there goes that, and then it just goes down into a nice, flat, luxurious, carpeted trunk. Like, look how nice and useful this space is, and then to bring it back up again, we just hit this button, and you can just see in real time how it just comes back up in a reasonable amount of time. And then all you have to do, because again, you're a luxurious person, you don't want to do manual labor. All you have to do, or maybe your assistant can do this, is pull the headrest up and it's good to go. So what is the seating position like back here? Again, I'm 6 feet tall. This is a lot of space. I have the front seat set to my comfortable driving position. There's enough room for a rear-facing car seat, and then there's enough room for a 6-foot tall person to sit in the back here. And I also have the ability to automatically recline or bring my seat forward. So you have a little switch here. You also have a USB-C port, and then you have your own little air conditioning unit here to keep you nice and cool. You have this light back here to remind the people in the front that you actually exist. I just think that this is extremely well done and comfortable back here. I mean, I could do a 1 or 2 hour road trip in this. Some people could probably go longer without vomiting, but I just think that this is a really well done car. You have these armrests for the back here for people in the back. I always love that about, like, you know, when I go to high school basketball practice and my friend's mom would pick me up in the Town and Country minivan, I just felt like a boss. I'd pull that armrest down and just chill. I always loved that. So again, this car is just so well done. Not only do you have the ability to comfortably carry 4 people and all of their luggage, you have the ability to carry 6 people and no luggage, because this is basically all the trunk space that you have. But if you need to carry 6 people going somewhere, this can be a really versatile car. If everyone wants to go to a nice luxurious dinner together or whatever, you can load everyone up in the GX550, and that's what I've really liked about it. So far, miles per gallon and range, not great, but there's gas stations everywhere, so who really cares? Also, if you're buying this car, you're probably fairly wealthy and you don't really care what it costs to fill your car up. So that's another thing we need to consider. And it closes up just like that. Now, part of the luxurious aspect is having these shades in the back here to give you a little extra privacy. But you know who else cares about your privacy? Today's video sponsor, Delete Me. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information from the internet. I've been using it for over 6 months now, and it's worked great for me. What annoys me most are robocalls, because it interrupts my filming when I'm using my phone, and Delete Me will look to see where my number is at on the internet and get it removed. Delete Me starts by having you fill out a profile of your name, common spellings, your phone number, address, or previous addresses you've lived at to find your information that data brokers are selling. These data brokers aggregate the data, cleanse it, analyze it, and then license it to sell to other data brokers or other organizations interested in your data. From here, Delete Me will generate your first report, and it can take a few days all the way up to a month to get your information removed from the internet. But what I love about this service is every 3 months, they're sending me a report showing me what they've done since the last removal. And if you have a specific issue, you can talk to one of their privacy advisors. You can email them and say, hey, I found my information at this link. Are you able to remove it from here? Or found my number here. Can you remove it? And their privacy advisor will address it for you. And because you made it this far in the ad, you can use my link below to save 20% off of your entire subscription with Delete Me, or use code Gjeebs20 when checking out on their website at joindeleteme.com. That's code Gjeebs20 to save 20% off at joindeleteme.com. I also have a link for their international plans in the description. Delete Me, thank you for sponsoring this video. The only other weird thing on our road trip was these mirrors are just huge blocks, just huge bricks you're carrying through the air. And you can kind of hear some wind noise, some weird waffling wind noise at higher speeds, 70, 80 miles per hour. Again, not the biggest deal. I just turn up the Mark Levinson sound system with 1800 watts juiced into it, and you don't hear a thing. But just minor things that I notice. It does have a heads-up display. I don't really care if cars have heads-up displays because I never end up using them. It has this beautiful display across the front here, which, like I showed earlier, has Apple CarPlay wirelessly integrated into it. Steering wheel's really comfortable. It has paddle shifters. You also have a drive mode selector here, which lets you select from 6 different drive modes, all the way up to Sport Plus. I think it's piping in some fake sound now. Absolutely do not get this car for speed. It's not fast, but it's also not like a slow pig around town. It actually accelerates nicely even at moderate throttle inputs. So I think that it's just an incredibly useful and beautiful vehicle. I would take this over a Mercedes G-Wagon any day. It's so smooth, it's so usable, and despite it being big, it's much easier to get in my garage than my Rivian R1T, and it's also not incredibly wide, and it's fairly nimble in parking lots. I took it to the Pirates game to watch the Pirates beat the Arizona Diamondbacks in extra innings. Even in a tight city parking lot, I was able to maneuver and get in tight parking spaces and everything like that. So it's a fairly easy car to drive. You have your 360 view, you have a front-facing camera. So it's an easy car to drive. It's very nice and comfortable to be in on long trips. It's not very fuel efficient, but I mean, what are you going to do? You can't win them all. So it has a lot of great technology packed into it. Now, what you may be wondering to yourself is, what about a Lexus hybrid? How does that compare to an electric vehicle like a Tesla Model Y? Well, I've filmed a video right here comparing a Lexus hybrid compared to my Tesla Model Y to see what it costs per mile and which is the better vehicle. Check this video out.